Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to learn English with another true and mysterious, really mysterious story. A story of patience and one of the most famous prison escapes in history. So, it's time to sit back, relax, and listen to the story of the most impossible prison escape. In the cold waters of San Francisco Bay is a small, rocky island. On that island stood one of the most secure prisons in the world, Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. Alcatraz held some of the most dangerous criminals in America. The prison was surrounded by icy water, strong ocean currents, and sharp rocks. Prison officials believed escape was impossible. Even if someone managed to break out, they would not survive the freezing water. Many prisoners tried to escape. None succeeded until 1962. That year, 3 prisoners began to quietly carry out an escape plan. Their names were Frank Morris and John and Clarence Anglin. Frank Morris was intelligent and calm. He had broken out of prisons before, but he was always caught. This time, he wanted to think everything through carefully. The plan began with something small. In their cells, the men saw that the small openings under the sinks were weak. The concrete was starting to break. Using stolen spoons, they slowly chipped away at the concrete. They worked at night. Whenever guards came by, they covered up the holes with painted cardboard that looked like the wall. Each day, they cleaned up the dust and washed it down the sink so guards would not find out. Breaking through the wall was only the first step. Behind the vent was a narrow corridor between the cell walls. From there, they could climb up to the roof. But there was still a problem. Guards checked the prisoners every night. If beds were empty, the escape would be discovered immediately. So the men came up with a clever idea. They made fake heads. Using soap, toilet paper, cement dust, and real hair from the prison barber shop, they created heads that looked real in the dark. At night, they placed the fake heads on their pillows and covered them with blankets to make it look like they were asleep. For months, the men worked quietly. They never rushed. They planned every detail. Finally, on June 11th, 1962, they were ready. They climbed through the holes in the walls. They moved through the corridor and reached the prison roof. From the roof, they slid down a pipe and ran across the island towards the water. but they did not jump in immediately. Over several weeks, they had put together a raft using more than 50 stolen raincoats. They glued the coats together and sealed the edges with heat from prison pipes. The raft was simple but effective. Just after midnight, the three men pushed off into the dark water, and then they disappeared. The next morning, guards discovered the empty cells. The prison went into lockdown. A large search began. Helicopters flew over the bay. Boats searched the water. Police looked along the shore. Days passed. No bodies were found. Investigators later said the men probably drowned in the freezing water. But there was no proof. Over the years, small pieces of evidence turned up. Part of a paddle, pieces of rubber, and letters that may have been written by one of the escapees. Some experts believe the fast-moving water pushed them away from the island and out to sea. Others believe they reached land and started new lives. No one knows the truth. In 1963, 1 year after the escape, the prison closed. Today, Alcatraz is a tourist attraction. Visitors walk through empty cells and look out at the cold water below, and they all ask the same question. Did the men survive? Or did the ocean win? Tell me in the comments, do you think the prisoners really survived? What do you think happened to them? I would love to read your ideas. Before we move on to the comprehension questions, let's look at a few phrasal verbs from the story that will help you with your everyday English. Don't forget that phrasal verbs can have more than one meaning. I am going to give you the meaning from the story. Break out means to escape from a place. The prisoners broke out of Alcatraz. Carry out in the story is to complete a plan. They carried out their escape plan carefully. Cover up is to hide something. They covered up the hole in the wall. Put together is to build or assemble something. They put together a raft from raincoats. I still cannot believe they did this. This really happened. They escaped with raincoats. Turn up is to appear or be discovered. Evidence turned up years later. Here's another example. My dog went missing and turned up last week. Now let's see how well you understood the story with a quick quiz. This is great speaking practice, so make sure you answer the questions out loud. Don't forget to press pause after each question. Ready? Why was Alcatraz considered impossible to escape from? Press pause. because the prison was on an island surrounded by cold water, strong waves, and sharp rocks. Officials believed that prisoners would not survive the swim. Why did they make fake heads? They made fake heads to trick the guards into thinking they were sleeping in their beds during night checks. What materials did they use to make their raft? And the answer is they used stolen raincoats and glued them together to make a waterproof raft. Last question. Why is the escape still a mystery today? And the answer is because no bodies were found and there is no clear proof of what happened to the 3 men. If you enjoyed this story and you want to learn more English with true stories, subscribe to my channel and click the bell. That way you won't miss the next lesson. Also, don't forget to practice the phrasal verbs we learned today. Try to use them in your own sentences. If you want to do some more English with me today, then join me in the next video. I'll see you there. Take care.